Big Bend National Park is a stunning natural treasure located in the west heart of Texas. Spanning over 800,000 acres, this vast and diverse landscape offers an unparalleled opportunity to experience the raw beauty of the Chihuahuan Desert, the majestic Chisos Mountains, and over 100 miles of the Rio Grande River. This vast national park is divided into 3 different parts: the Rio Grande Village in the east, the Chisos Basin in the heart of the park, and the area around the Santa Elena Canyon in the west. Let's first discuss the park's location and how to get there. Big Bend National Park is located far from any major city or airport. You can choose to fly into El Paso or San Antonio. Both of these drives take over 5 hours. If you're planning to stay outside of the park, check out the city of Terlingua to the west. You can also opt to stay in one of the beautiful lodges in the Chisos Basin, which is centrally located, or stay in one of the 3 campgrounds in Chisos Basin, Rio Grande Village, or Cottonwood. Check out the National Park's website for reservations and opening times. The best time to visit comfortably and explore the Big Bend is between October and April, when the temperatures are much cooler from the scorching heat of the summer. But also keep in mind that the park is much busier, so consider visiting in the shoulder season. Personally, I happened to visit in July, which is probably one of the hottest months, but I felt like I was all alone with only a handful of visitors. I don't recommend longer hikes during the summer, as the heat and the temperatures could be fatal. Let's talk about how many days you should budget for a visit to Big Bend National Park. Taking into consideration the journey it takes to reach the park, I recommend at least 2 to 3 days. There's just so many things to see in each of the areas of the park, and in the next section, I'm going to share how I spent the 3 full days in this park. On the first day of my trip, I began my adventures near the Rio Grande Village on the east side of the park. I drove over to the Boquillas Canyon and began a short 1-mile round-trip hike to the start of the canyon. This is the longest and deepest canyon in the park. The hike only takes you to the start of the canyon, where you can begin to feel the grandeur of this place as the 1,500-foot walls begin to close in on you. You can also opt to do the Marufo Vega Trail, which takes you to various overlooks around the Boquillas Canyon, but it is a strenuous 14-mile round-trip hike with 0 shade. Another way you can enjoy this magical place is by taking up a rafting tour through the canyon. Most of the tours can be booked online or in person in the town of Terlingua. Just 5 minutes down the road from the Boquillas Canyon, you can cross the border into Mexico. The Boquillas crossing is the only official way of crossing into Mexico, so make sure to bring your passport. After a quick breathing, you are free to cross the Rio Grande into Mexico. The water is only knee-deep and super warm, but you can also pay $5 and the friendly Mexicans will take you across on a little boat. Once on Mexico's side, it's only a 15-minute walk into the town of Boquillas del Carmen, or you can opt to pay for a donkey ride. Once in town, you can check out this charming small town, visit some of the craft shops for some souvenirs, and my favorite, a stop at Jose Falcon's restaurant for some delicious tacos with a view overlooking the canyon. After exploring Boquillas del Carmen, another recommendation I have for you in the park is to visit the Big Bend Hot Springs. From the main road, you'll follow a gravel road to reach the trailhead, and it only takes about 15 minutes to reach the hot springs. This natural pool is situated next to the Rio Grande River, and the water temperature is about 105 degrees Fahrenheit. This is a great way to relax after a long day of exploring. To finish off this amazing day, head over to Soto Vista Overlook, which in my opinion is one of the best sunset viewpoints in the park, from which you can see Chisos Mountains, the sprawling desert, and the Santa Elena Canyon. We begin the second day with a breathtaking sunrise over the Santa Elena Canyon before driving to the trailhead to start another short hike to perhaps one of the most impressive and recognizable landmarks in the park. Before you begin the hike, be prepared to cross a stream to continue the hike. Depending on the time of the year you come, the water can be above the knee deep, but I guarantee you that your efforts will be well worth it. Once you get to the other side, you will first hike up to an overlook before continuing about a mile into the canyon. Once again, you should consider a guided rafting trip to explore this stunning place. After the hike, we jump back into the car to explore the Ross Maxwell Scenic Drive, a 30-mile road that connects the Santa Elena Canyon with Chisos Basin. As you are driving along the road, here are some of the stops you should consider visiting. The Tough Canyon, where you'll get a glimpse of the Big Bend's volcanic past. As you continue north, check out the Mule Ears Viewpoint, one of the most unique mountain structures in the park. You may also consider the Lower Burro Mesa hike, a short 1-mile hike with beautiful views of the canyon. There are many other stops along this road with plaques that explain the landscape. You can learn more by watching one of my vlogs from the day I had spent on the Ross Maxwell Scenic Drive. I spent my last and final day exploring the Chisos Basin in the heart of the Big Bend National Park. As it turns out, this was my favorite area in the entire park and the one that I recommend you don't miss. As you start to drive towards the Chisos Basin, you begin to get closer towards some of the tallest peaks in Texas. Interestingly enough, Chisos are the furthest extension of the Rocky Mountain Range. In the Chisos Basin itself, you can find a restaurant, lodge, a visitor center, and many trails that begin here which will take you to some of the most scenic hikes in the park. One of the most popular hikes in the park that I recommend is the Lost Mine Trail. This 5-mile round-trip hike has a gentle incline throughout the entirety of the hike, but plan to arrive early as the parking lot is quite small. Once you reach the top of the Lost Mine peak, you will be amazed at the rugged scenery right in front of you. If you're looking for other short trails here in the Chisos Basin, then check out the Window Overlook. At less than half a mile round trip, this paved path leads you to one of the best sunset spots in the area. For those of you looking for longer and more strenuous hikes here in the Big Bend National Park, check out the South Rim or the Emery Peak hikes, both of which are over 10 miles round trip and are best done in the spring when the temperatures are much cooler, as you can expect little to no shade on these trails. I personally did not hike these trails as the temperatures during my visit exceeded over 115 degrees Fahrenheit. The time of the year you decide to visit Big Bend National Park will affect the kind of experience you will have. The best time to visit is between October and April, when the temperatures are much more manageable, which means the facilities including the campgrounds will be open and the hikes will be much more suitable for hiking. Overall, I think there is no bad time to visit because each season has its pros and cons, as you may have noticed throughout the video. I encourage future visitors to spend at least a few days in the park because it is just so massive and there are just so many different activities to do and enjoy. If you have some extra time, perhaps you want to consider a visit to Big Bend Ranch State Park, located just an hour west of Big Bend National Park. If you have even more time, you can add a few days in Guadalupe Mountains National Park, that is not too far from the El Paso if you're flying out of there. I loved my visit to Big Bend National Park for its unique landscape, remoteness, and the experiences I had along the way. If you want to watch more, you can see my in-depth videos from each of my days spent in Big Bend National Park, and I really hope you enjoyed this video and it has helped you plan your upcoming trip.